Sorry, I blacked out there.
No, sorry, mate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my podcast. My name's Darren Connell, and this is Straight White Whale, and this is episode 31. So that's amazing. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank everybody that's liked and reviewed the podcast last week. We seem to have had a rush, kind of new followers and likes and stuff. So thank you very much. And if you listen to the podcast and you enjoy it and you've not liked it or reviewed it or followed it, can you please do that, because it's keeping us alive and we'll be able to keep doing this weekly. So thank you very much. And this week we've also got a sponsor. So they're behind me there. I don't know if it's top left or top right.
The other side.
That side?
Yep, there you go.
There we go. I'm blind as fuck. We've got a new sponsor, so it's P&N Bathrooms. They're in Kirkentulloch Road in Bishopbriggs. If you're needing your bathroom done, tiled, or a new bath, a new shower, get in touch with them. Their details will pop up on the screen. Do you know how I know that they're a good business? Because they done my ma's bathroom. So there we go. I only get people to sponsor the podcast that I know, and they give a good product. So Noel at P&N Bathrooms in Kirky Road is a good dude. And if you're needing a turn, just say, I was listening to Darren Connell's podcast and I need a fucking bath. So there we go. And I'll suck his banger as well. So, and by the way, that doesn't mean that we're not going to mention Brothers in Arms. Brothers in Arms are still an amazing charity. And if you're struggling with your mental health, or if you need help, get in touch with them. They've also got a podcast, and they do a podcast. Well, Paul does their podcast. So follow them in their social media. Just Google it, Brothers in Arms. Listen to previous podcasts. They've got an app. So get in about them as well. So there we go. So this is episode 31, and there has been a eventful week. How are you, Paul?
I'm good, mate. So what's the eventful week? What's been happening?
I've got a list of things that we're going to go through.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm not very good at promotion. So I need to promote my tour. It's coming up. The first night is next week in Greenock. It's Saturday the 18th, Friday the 17th of June. And I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm on the verge of pulling it. Like, ticket sales are terrible. And I don't really know how that's happened. I think there's been, I don't want to get into it, but I don't know what's happened. And I've only sold something like 18 tickets. So by the time the venue take a cut, and then the person that's helping me run it take a cut, and then I need to pay a support act, I'll end up out of pocket. And I can't afford to be out of pocket, considering the situation that we're all living in the world. So if you would like, I've had a lot of people in my life in the last couple of months saying that they're coming to the gig, and they're going to buy tickets, and nobody's bought a ticket. So I don't know if they're being nice and they're just saying that, or they're holding off to the last minute. I think there's a lot of pals and stuff expecting free tickets. I can't afford to give free tickets because I get charged for it. That's how it works. If there's a venue taking a cut, and then there's an agent taking a cut, and I'm giving away free tickets, like, obviously they're going to be raging, and it'll cost me money. So, and plus it's cheap as fuck anyway, so just buy a ticket and be a mate. So I'm going to get it to Thursday, and if things don't improve, I'm going to cancel it. Look, it's not the end of the world. The rest of the tour will go ahead, and shit happens. So there we go.
So how do people buy tickets if they want to get a ticket sorted?
That's another thing that's doing my fucking boxing, by the way. How do you get a ticket? Where do I go? Do I have to drive to Greenock? Do I drive up to Greenock? How do I get a taxi from Glasgow to Greenock to the box office? Do they take chip and pin and all that? They still take money? Just go on the fucking website, right? Just Google Darren Connell comedian gigs. It's not that fucking hard. You know what? Don't come in a gig. Fuck off. Just Google it. Greenock Darren Connell. The ticket link will come up. It's on the Beacon Arts Centre website. It's on my social media. It's honestly, it's not that complicated. It's like, why is it complicated?
I don't know, mate.
You must have got that with gigs,
When I played in bands,
Mm-hmm.
mate, I sold almost every ticket myself. It was before really, when I did gigs like that where I'd be selling meaningful amounts of tickets, it was before the internet age. But
that was, I bet you that was still annoying.
oh, mate, what a fucking bollock. The worst one, the worst one is, I'm coming.
Aye.
Right up to the day, oh, I'm not coming, mate. And you're like, you can just say, I'm not going to, you know, I would rather that you just knew up front that you weren't going to be there rather than making promises that tickets getting put aside and all that sort of shit. But the last big gig that I did in a band and we sold out the ABC, it was all done on the internet, mate, and it was so liberating in comparison to fucking text messages and emails.
Thankfully, I've never had that experience, but I know a lot of people, like my cousin, Nathaniel Collins. In fact, I don't think he's like that now because he's
Established.
Aye, but he was like, 200 tickets he needs to sell to get paid on top of needing to train 7 days a week, eat like a fucking machine. And then he's like, people are like, how much do you get paid for that? Do you pay tax? Have you got an account? Where'd you stay? Are you fighting in Greenock? Are you going to fight before Darren's on stage? Are you coming up on stage with Darren and day 10 rounds with Bobby for Scott Squad? The fucking... Here, man, I think I could take you, mate. I think I could take you in a 12-rounder, man. Anyway. Here, I got like that. See, when I was training with him, I trained with him for a year. And I remember audibly saying, I think I could take you in a fight. Like, no beat you. I know that you would beat me, but I think I could proper have a go at it. And he was like, shut the fuck up. Just because I was fit as fuck and I was buzzing. I was like, no, man.
Training.
I could, mate. I think I could. And he's like, shut up. I was like, if it's a street fight, I would just grab you, man, wrestle you. And he's like, you'd get fucking killed with one punch. And I was like, I wouldn't let you punches, mate. And then we don't talk to each other anymore because I'm a fucking idiot. So
He knocked you out.
Aye.
In the street. You ever seen the... I've had a couple of people that's and I don't mind talking about, I won't name the guy, but I'll tell the story in the hope that he does hear it and he's fucking embarrassed. Where I was doing a podcast for somebody and we did an episode with Chris Bungard. Now there's a few, so it doesn't really tell, but we went and did a vlog in his gym, so that narrows it down. You can go and find it on Instagram if you want. I think I might have even shared it. Might even be on my timeline. And on the way there, this fucking idiot was like, do you think I could take Chris?
Fuck's sake.
Because the guy's big. And I was like, no. And he's like, how no? I'm like twice the weight of him. I was like, I bet he's a professional fighter, mate.
Yeah.
I was like, you'll find out when you get in the gym. We went in and we did the vlog and they came out and we were getting in the motor and he was like, I couldn't take him, mate. One leg kick, and it was probably like 50% of Chris's power and he was like, oofed.
Out.
No, I just felt the power and just looked at me like,
Aye.
like, aye. And then they did like a wee sort of grapple on the ground and Chris showed him a couple of chokes and he was like, nah, I couldn't take him, mate. It's a different level on top.
I went to train with Bungard, sorry, Paul.
Craig.
Craig. For a day. Aye, Paul Craig, my best friend. We went to train for a laugh. And it was when I was really unfit as well, so he was very kind with me.
Right.
And he put me... I was like, right, why don't we show you choking me out?
Mm-hmm.
And he never even finished it, and I was like, stop.
Wee bit of pressure on the throat.
I was like, nah. I could feel a panic attack coming on.
Your fight or flight kicks in because it knows he could kill me here.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Obviously,
I would never ever think that I could fight that guy. I know that I couldn't fight that guy, but I'm like, God, I could be out cold in 5 seconds. And I was like, nah, mate, I can't do it. I was having a dry bulk and all that. I was like, you're fucking mental,
literally
man.
in panic, mate. He told a story in here in another podcast that he drives a smart car.
All right.
Right? He's no flashy. I quite admire that about him because, he's top 10 UFC light heavyweight. Guy's making money. So he could be driving, Range Rover and whatever like everybody else, but he drives a smart car. He said he cut off a white van and they were like fucking rattling the horn and flashing the lights. You fucking prick, and then pulled up alongside them at the lights. Seen who it was, and we're like, all right, big man. Imagine that, like fucking, I'm going to punch fuck out this dick. You look in the smart car, and it's like probably the best fighter in Scotland. Sitting there like, aye, but you got to do, mate. Yeah, fucking
I've never understood road rage. Like, see, during lockdown, I used to work with a couple of lads, and the guy that was driving the van was constantly like, fucking prick, and I'm like, fucking stay to you, mate.
Don't get
like,
the horn off, mate.
I will, probably. Like, the fucking nick of you that you're getting in road rage. Anyway, let's go through this list. I need to give a shout out to Norm MacDonald. I don't know if I did it last week. He's got a new special on Netflix. As if you're a regular viewer or listener to this podcast, you'll know that Norm MacDonald is my hero. He's got a special on Netflix that he filmed during lockdown just before he passed away, and it's lovely. He filmed it in his house, and it was very similar to like a Zoom gig because he couldn't get a crowd. It was just him, a microphone in front of a camera, and he did an hour of material. And then at the end, David Spade, Adam Sandler, Dave Chappelle. Oh, don't say his name. Oh, Dave Chappelle, don't say it. Fuck it. Oh, burn in hell. And somebody else all gave their opinion on Norm MacDonald, and it was lovely.
So it was filmed. Cunt. I try to think of something.
Worse than Hitler. He's worse than Hitler.
So he filmed it in his house.
He filmed it in his house
during lockdown.
Yes.
Right.
I feel like only him could do that. I mean, everyone knew that it's the one he did before he passed away, but it was like, it was so personal as well. See, for something such on a big scale like Netflix, it was so like just so personal, and like I knew it's so specific. It just sums up Norm MacDonald, and I mean, you can tell that he's sick, and sometimes he was struggling a wee bit,
right.
But I think that just adds to the beauty of it. Like the fact that that guy passed away, it's like having a video of Robin Williams doing a performance or something. Like, so if I was that guy's family, I would be really happy that was there.
Mm-hmm. Is it like his eulogy, like a personal eulogy?
Yeah.
And does he talk about that he knows he's going to die and stuff like that?
Nah.
Right. I'll need to watch it, mate.
It's good. I mean, at some points you're like, it's not that funny, but by the end of it, you're like, that was 10 out of 10.
Right.
Really beautiful, a beautiful thing. So, highly recommended.
Did you do any Zoom gigs yourself?
I did, not in the house. I did, it was a weird one. I did one at the Stand Comedy Club in Glasgow, and it was no crowd.
For their Saturday night thing?
Yeah.
Right.
And it was fucking dreadful, man. It was just terrible. Like,
I watched that religiously. And like for the first maybe 2 or 3, where Nelson was in the living room in Edinburgh, and then it was cutting to like wee clips of people that they had sent in. And I kind of felt like what you're saying on the Norm MacDonald thing, if you were going to do that, you need to change what you're doing. I think that the thing that I was sort of, was like, these people are trying to do stand-up to a screen. This isn't working. Frankie Boyle came in. I think we spoke about this before. I'm getting deja vu.
I mentioned it, but we never really went into it.
But Frankie Boyle read for a book. He came on and went, you know, we're going through a tough time, and read some passages for a book. People in the YouTube comments were like, what the fuck was that for Frankie Boyle? And you're like, well, it was different. He tried to do something different with a medium that he's probably never done before.
Was it jokes he was doing?
No.
Just a story? Yeah.
Just read an extract for a book, because he was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know how to do this, so I'm just going to read for a book.
Here, good on him, by the way, because ego takes people to try and be funny, and for him to say that this is not going to work, let's do something different, is like fair play to him. But when I went, see, I think I was unlucky when I did it, because I never done a gig for over a year, and then I get offered it, and I was on first, and I felt like saying, can you not make me go on first? Like, I don't know how the Zoom gigs work. I've never watched a Zoom gig before. Can you make somebody else go on first, and then I can literally get a feel of it? And because there was other people on my lineup that have done numerous Zoom gigs, so that kind of fucked us a wee bit with nerves. And then I went on first, and for I think I had 10 minutes. For the first 4 minutes, it cut out. The live stream actually cut out.
Fuck's sake.
So people were just like, what the fuck's happening to the live stream? And aye. But then I was trying to have patter with the cameramen or the staff in the venue, trying to just get any reaction at all. But that was a level of nerves that I've never experienced before. It was different because I went up, because you've got bankers in your head, right? You're like, I'll do jokes that I've done for 15 years. I went up and I was like, literally forgot what day it was. Like, it was just a different level of stress.
With nerves?
With nerves, right. Like I was on stage holding the mic, and in my head I was like, I don't even know, I can't even remember what day it is, never mind my bankers. It was just blackout. And then my girlfriend at the time, I phoned her and she's like, look, it cut out, what can you do? And I'm like, aye, what can I do?
Nothing you can do. I mean, that was all through just pure sheer desperation, wasn't it? Like, to try and get something out there. Thought it was a good idea. Thought it was executed pretty poorly. Not going to lie, for what I seen. I was only really watching it to be like, there's nothing else going on. Is there? Like, during that first early stages of lockdown, you were just consuming everything that was going. That was sort of like, let's see how this sort of pans out. Mate, it takes balls, especially to do what you did, because when I was watching it, other than Nelson, who was comparing, you know, and that's different. Like, you can just sort of like, whatever. I think maybe no. Maybe that takes an element of fucking courage and that to do that as well. But people were pre-recording and just sending in like wee videos. Some people weren't even taking it that seriously, mate. I thought that it was quite. It was sort of strange to watch.
Yeah.
But do you think that there is a way that it can be done?
I think there is, because Susie McCabe ran a gig. I can't remember the business. I actually had COVID and I had to pull from it.
Right.
It was this venue in the town, and they had this green screen.
Room 2,
mate.
Right.
So it was a green screen behind her, and you could see the audience, really. And that worked really well. That's not me pissing on the Stand, by the way. The Stand Comedy Club are the best fucking club in Britain, probably. I knew they tried to do something different, but I'm sure people can take criticism.
It's not even a criticism, is it? To say you're a comedy club who has been doing, you know, people walking through your door, buying drinks at your bar, sitting down, stand-up comedy for what, 20, 30, I don't even know.
Yeah.
To like, no, you need to become a live streaming expert. I don't think that's a criticism. It's more just like a, you know, you tried something in a unprecedented times and it didn't work. But the Room 2 idea, that sounds like a good idea. If you can see faces, I think there would be a way for people, you can react on Zoom, right? You can click a clap button. It would be good if they had the ability of, like, you know, say half of the people hit the laughing emoji in Zoom. Well, laughs come over like a sort of speaker to let you know, give you that sort of feedback. I think there is a way to do it.
I think that's the way to do it, the way Susie McCabe was doing it.
Right.
Because I had COVID, and then she gave me a second gig, and I was just like, Susie, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I've got no taste, I've got no smell, and I feel exhausted. Like, I don't know if it's COVID, I don't know what's happening. And straight away she's like, I can't risk it. And I was like, right, fair enough.
Of course.
But I didn't want to walk in to a venue and put my colleagues at risk. So I was pretty gutted that I missed the gig, but I'm trying to be a decent human being, you know what I mean? That'd have been an absolute cunt thing to do.
Aye, absolutely.
Because I knew comedians, I won't name them, but they were like, I don't give a fuck if I've got COVID, I'll go and do the gig. And you're like, you're a prick, mate.
Aye, fuck him.
All for the sake of what, 50, 60 quid or something? Anyway, you know how we were talking about conspiracies? We've been talking about conspiracies quite a lot on this podcast. I found a conspiracy on TikTok.
Okay.
Paul, I swear to God.
Strap in.
What?
Strap in.
Strap in. I swear to God, mate, this is the first time I've ever looked at a conspiracy and I've been scared.
Okay.
As in, I can't believe it. If I Google this on my phone, will they know that I'm Googling it? I'm scared to... Are they going to track my, like, IP address and all that? Like, genuinely, like, holy fuck. So, I mean, I'll mention it on the podcast, though. But it did scare me, right? And then, see, when I tried to Google it, barely anything came up. So, none of it came up in Google.
Right.
Barely anything on Yahoo News and stuff. I could find some stuff on TikTok and Twitter. So, basically, the conspiracy is, see Prince Harry right now, that's not the real Prince Harry.
Okay.
The real Prince Harry is... Oh my God, I've not put down his fucking name. What a dickhead.
I think you sent me a link to this, and
I did. Please forgive me, followers and friends. Okay, so I've got it up. 31 years old. His name's James Francis Alexander. If you Google it, you'll see a picture of him, and it's actually mental how much he looks like Prince Harry. He's claiming to be the real Prince Harry, found dead in an Irish hotel.
fuck. Right. Okay.
So he wrote a book called The Real Prince Harry, A Lie, and I think it sold 50,000 copies in the first week. And then, from what I've been seeing on TikTok and online, I think it was the royal family that stepped in and seized publishers. They stopped selling the book and they banned it. And you can't get the book anywhere. So
who these pictures that are here, is that not Prince Harry?
what, him beside the horse?
No, there's like 4 photos, man claiming to be real. It's like 4 pictures, look. See it here?
Yeah.
Who are
That's no Prince Harry. That's
him? Like
yeah.
this James guy?
Yep.
Wait, what the fuck?
He fled England in January 2015 and sought stay in Ireland, saying that he was being followed and harassed by M15, and he had to...
M15?
Aye.
MI5?
MI5, oh my God. MI5 will be watching this podcast like that fucking idiot. I'm not even going to shoot that cunt.
Don't need to worry about Darren Connell. M15, man.
I like the assassins. Like, I actually need to go to Glasgow and shoot that cunt. Fuck's sake, Queen, come on. MI5, M15. That's a road. He had received multiple death threats by extremist supporters of the British monarchy.
Right. What the fuck?
And then he get found dead in an Irish hotel room with multiple gunshots. So I think that's fucking mental. That's the only article I can find online about it, by the way.
It's some strange fucking world news thing. That looks weird.
So even if the guy was mental, why would he get found in a hotel room with gunshots? Like, what the fuck?
Aye, something no right about that.
There's something weird about that. And it's because when he was younger, I think he was... What was he going to say? I'm getting mixed up. I don't know if it's because maybe the fake Prince Harry is still related somehow. I think he was going to tell the world that Prince Charles wasn't the dad.
Right, so this sort of James Hewitt conspiracy that James Hewitt's actually the father of Prince Harry. So this guy's James Hewitt's son, and he was, I mean, amazing script for a movie.
Yes.
Incredible. But strange that he's popped up like dead with multiple gunshots and gun wounds, and I mean, the pictures are creepy. I mean, that's Prince Harry that you're looking at.
Yeah. Might be his brother.
So there's 3 of them. So is there anything in his book about who the Harry that we think is Harry?
I can't see. That's another mental thing. They say they sold 50,000 copies. I cannot find anything online about it whatsoever.
There was a link to an Amazon account there, but it was an author account with his name. But whether or no you can actually buy anything, James Books, Amazon 666. No, there's nothing. So he sold 50,000 copies of a book, and you can't find it on eBay or anything like that.
Can't even find it in Google.
What the fuck is going on here? WorldNewsDailyReport.com. There was a Corporal James Francis Alexander. Material and science writer James F. Alexander. So I would say that means one or two things, right? And I think it's important that you keep both in mind when you sort of think about the situation. Is that one, the guy is legit and he's been deleted out of like available media, or he's full of shite.
Yeah.
It's one of the two, isn't it? Like, I don't know if there's a middle ground here. It's kind of all or nothing for me.
Well, my normal brain would say that he's probably full of shit.
That's where I'm leaning.
Because why would I mean, supposedly he said that when he was a wee guy. He said, I'm going to tell the truth. So it came out the last couple of weeks that the Queen has got disabled family members, and they put them in a home, and one of them actually died like very recently, lived to a very old age, severely disabled. So if they were going to section disabled family members, why would they not just do that to him? They could put him in a home or whatever.
Why would they just leave him to just run free and spread this information?
Yeah.
Do you know
write a book as well?
I think was it me and you that had added so many of these fucking things? Was it me and you that spoke about that the other week about her sectioning, or was it somebody else, another podcast?
I think we brought it up
briefly
because we were talking about JFK.
Yeah. So I had a Google about that after a conversation, and the reason that has been cited that they sectioned disabled members of the royal family is because that was one of the reasons the Russians used against the Russian royal family, is like a way of saying, look, they're not special, because the wee boy that was going to be the next Tsar of Russia had a what's it called when if you cut, you just bleed out? Haemophilia.
Aye.
So he was a haemophiliac, and that get used against them and propaganda, and like Soviet propaganda as a way to overthrow them. Is that these people think they're special? Look, he's disabled, and it get used against them. So the British and their cousins.
Wow. The
British royal family and the Russian, they're all cousins. The Germans,
Aye.
the Greek, they're all family. It's one family that they all descend from. But they decided to hide away the people that were problems for them.
That's horrible.
It's horrible, isn't it, mate? It's fucking disgusting.
Especially the fact that she died recently as well.
I know,
the
mate.
fact that, I'm not justifying any of that behaviour whatsoever, but back in the 60s and 70s, maybe that's accepted. Maybe in the 90s and the 80s and stuff, you're like, here, wait a minute. We're in the ring here. Let's take them out.
I love conspiracies. I don't get scared. Or like I'm afraid to like Google this and stuff like that. I used to be a wee bit like that. I find them quite fun now. There's a good one involving Harry that so the Queen's uncle, who was the king when the Second World War, we spoke about that, didn't we? He was married to an American divorcee called Wallis Simpson, and they used that as the reason for him to advocate the throne and give it to the Queen's dad. But actually, the reason he advocated was because he was a close personal friend of Hitler's, and didn't want to go to war and was going to go against the British government if they tried to go to war with Hitler. He believed in not in the genocide of Jewish people, but he believed in the Third Reich and white supremacy, and of course they do. That's what keeps them in power, right? That they are special, God's chosen people, and all that fucking piss, right? But the reason that they allowed him to marry an American was because to become an American president, you need to be an American citizen. And this is what Harry and Meghan Markle is all about, is trying to get a British monarch in with the American political class, kind of in a sort of Omen, Damien for you. Now, the Omen movies, that's the story of that. Like, the devil puts his son here to try and like infiltrate politics and become a politician. So that's like a wee conspiracy behind the sort of Harry, Meghan Markle thing.
So in 30 years, we could have a wee ginger-headed president.
That's directly in line for the throne of the British monarchy.
That's a belter of a conspiracy.
And it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
a wee
it does.
bit. It's like power and control, isn't it? But if we do get there, cite this podcast. look back.
30 years, we'll probably be dead.
I won't be.
How no?
I'll be 70, mate. I'll still be shagging.
We'll still be doing this podcast. Imagine that. Oh, welcome to episode 490,000.
Like Rogan. He's got to die in that fucking chair, cunt.
I know. Oh well.
Too much coffee, have a wee heart attack sitting in that fucking... smoking a big fat cigar.
Let's move on for the conspiracy stuff, because it does fry my fucking brain, by the way. That actually affected my sleep that night.
Really?
Aye. I'm very hypersensitive to stuff like that. Like I said about the JFK stuff, I needed to stop reading about it and that. I can understand why people... I would never go as far as flat earth, but I can understand why people get like that.
Mm-hmm.
You just have a bad day, man. If you're having a bad day, bad circumstances, you can just get fried. Your brain can get fried.
Aye, mate. I think that the real deep conspiracy theorists are serial, and I mean this as an observation, serial losers who want to find excuses as to why they've not been successful in life, and it comes down to, oh wait, there's this unseen power in the world that stops me from achieving the greatness that I could.
Aye.
That's
Illuminati fucking orange whoremasters. You're like, mate, you work in a call centre.
I mean, that's not talking down people's like life or anything like that, but that's what I've observed when you see, especially when you watch the Flat Earth documentary. Have you seen that, like Beyond the Curve?
Not at all.
Mate, watch it on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix?
It's an official Netflix documentary. Okay. And they prove to the guy that there's curvature to the earth, and he's like, oh, and you hear the penny drop. It's a great documentary. I won't ruin any of it.
Is that the guy that strapped himself to a rocket?
No, I don't think so.
Right, okay.
Who's that?
Right, there's some fucking idiot that strapped himself to a rocket to prove that the earth was flat, and he actually died. I think he broke his back and then he died with his injuries. So that's the kind of cunt you're dealing with.
That's the Darwin Awards, but isn't it? This is like the modern version of fucking whatever, like Darwin's theory of like, you know, now we're in the intellectual age of information. It's like if you can't process the information for what it is and then end up strapping yourself to a rocket to try and prove that the world is flat, do you deserve to die?
Yeah.
You said that, no me.
Yeah, you do. Or you deserve to get clipped. We've spoke about population control in this podcast numerous times, and we support it. For people like that anyway, just give them $5,000. Like, mate, if you want to believe that the earth is flat, that's cool. Here's £5,000. You need to show us that you've had your testicles removed so you're not allowed to have wains. Population control.
Hashtag.
Here, I'd take $5,000 to get my balls clipped.
Would you?
Aye.
Like, what do you mean by balls clipped? Like, your balls cut off, or like making it impossible for you to breed?
$5,000 to stop breeding.
Right.
To get my testicles removed, you're talking a lot more.
A eunuch?
Aye.
How much?
It'd have to be like £1 million or
Right.
something. And even that, I don't even know. But to get the snap, $5,000, aye. No bother, man.
Mm-hmm.
Would you?
I've got absolutely no want for wains, so I'd probably get the snip for $5,000. I'd probably get a snip for fuck all. I've thought about it before, actually, but if somebody was like, here, there's a wee $5,000 if you go, and I'd be like, aye.
I would save a lot of fucking baby wipes if I get the snip.
How? Do you think shit doesn't come out?
Does it still come out?
Surely it does.
Oh, really? I never knew that.
I don't know either, mate.
Do you know? I don't know.
We need to Google that.
Do you ever remember that mad charity? I don't know why this popped into my head. There was a charity for America, proper Christian Texas, right, that came over to Scotland years ago. Project Prevention, they were called. The only reason I remember this is because they went to Springburn. And I don't know if it happened in Springburn, but it was quite sad because they only target addicts and homeless people and stuff.
Right.
So they'd walk up to a homeless person or someone that looked like an addict and they would say, we'll give you £200 if you show us that you've had the snip and you can't have kids. And I think they walked up to a woman in the street that wasn't an addict. So it was just I'm saying normal, everybody's normal, you know what I mean? But they judged a book by its cover and they were like, we'll give you money if you show us you're not having kids. And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I work in a nursing home or something. Like,
just a Glasgow woman.
Aye.
Hard paper round.
I'm a middle-aged Glasgow woman and I'm sure I remember that being in the paper.
Project Prevention, what were they trying to prevent?
They were trying to prevent addicts from having kids.
That's wild.
And they were offering money to the people.
I have heard people try and cite that idea as some sort of like groundbreaking intellectual, like, I've had this really great idea that while people are addicted to hard drugs, we should sterilise them.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so you're now a Nazi.
That is a Nazi, isn't it?
100%.
That's
mate.
what Nazis do.
100%. I mean, it's as far as like gassing 6 million people, it's kind of low down in the level of Nazi behaviour, right? But it is still the fucking workings of an absolute fucking control freak. Like, what the fuck? Along with another great idea of just put them on an island somewhere, build a wall, throw in heroin, let them just kill themselves. Like, oh, there's a great idea.
Yeah. Aye, that's pretty... I don't know what... It's weird how you remember shit like that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm saying M15, but then I remember a story in the newspaper for like 15 years ago.
Project Prevention.
Project Prevention, I'm sure. I don't know if they're still a charity.
Have you seen these fucking idiots that are kicking about at the Sandyford, just as we talk about mad religious fundamentalists?
Yeah. Because we brought that up a couple of weeks ago in the podcast and they're still there.
Mm-hmm. They're getting worse, actually. Yeah. They're empowered because the police and the government are doing nothing about it. Because they're standing outside whatever this buffer zone is. I think there's like a certain distance that they can't go with in the clinics.
They're across the street, aren't they? They're on the other... So the Sandyford's there, there's a pavement, and then the road, pavement, they're on the other side.
They're on the other side of the wall.
Aye.
They're on the same side of Sucky Hall Street as the Sandyford Clinic, but the Sandyford Clinics get that sort of like street, Sandyford Lane or whatever.
They really are scummy bastards.
Mate, I was sitting in here the other day and I was done with a podcast and I was looking at the footage on Twitter and I was like, stoked myself. I was like, I want to go in there, man. I want to just go in there and take their fucking signs off them. Just be the bully that they are to other people, to them. Aye. Just go in and go, all right, mate, 6'5", kilos, what you got to fucking say to me? I'm going to take your microphone off you.
Aye.
What you got to do? But then I'd get arrested.
Who are they, but?
Mad fucking nut job Christians, mate.
Are they Scottish?
Aye, mate.
Aye.
Glaswegian. Guy's got a Glaswegian accent. He's got like this wee clip-on mic and a wee clip-on speaker and he's just shouting obscenities about fucking Jesus at people.
That's not even, I don't know what religion they are, but that I don't think that's a church. That is like, you know how you get...
Church of Scotland, mate.
Is it?
Aye, I'm sure of it. I'm sure they're Church of Scotland.
Rat bastards, man.
They're not a representation of Christianity or, you know, anybody that's an actual Christian that believes in Christian values. That's not Christian values, mate. That's mental. That's fucking mental. But, mate, they're clearly... Why? I don't understand why the police can't just do something about it. Surely that's breach of the peace.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people have got a right to protest, but I don't think they've got a right to be able to fucking strap on a PA system and shout at people that they're murdering babies.
That must have some psychological effect on the females that are going in there. And it'll be long-lasting, like, post-traumatic stress. As if doing that is not traumatic enough, then you have to add these fucking idiots to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
They should get castrated. You want to go Hoffers, £500, we'll go round and say, here, mate, get your balls clipped.
I don't think they need castration, mate. I mean, they'll not get near a woman. Fuck me, man. That's probably the point. That's why they're there.
They need their hole first.
Back to the conspiracy theorists, isn't it? Or whatever. They don't get their hole enough, man.
Aye.
That's like these fucking... It's the same people that you see... we were talking the other week at the Jubilee. These people that are pure... I love the Queen. The Queen. With their fucking mad homemade fucking... top hats, Union Jacks, like these people are unwell.
Yeah.
That's why they're fucking doing it. They've got nothing else going on in their life. That guy goes down there for like 6, 7, 8 hours a day shouting at folk.
Yeah.
He needs a job and a hobby.
Mm-hmm. I'm going home tonight for my fish and chips, my mushy peas for the Queen. That was weird as fuck, that, wasn't it?
What
The Jubilee.
I didn't engage with a lot of it, mate.
I watched 5 minutes of it, and the only part I seen was a hologram of the Queen inside a fucking horse and cart, and all these stupid cunts that are like, mushy peas, were waving at a hologram. Holy fuck.
Aye, mate. Is that not just mental illness, like, wrapped up? I mean, I thought it was bad that people were buying tickets to go and watch a hologram at ABBA at the Hydro. I mean, that's it. But at least you're getting some music. You're having a good night. You know, people go to nightclubs, pay to go to a nightclub and listen to other people's music that aren't there. But waving at an empty gold carriage.
It's mental.
I can't get my head around it.
Mm-hmm. And also this tit for tat with child abuse is just pathetic. Like, I tweeted something about the Jubilee being shite, and this random guy with a Union Jack was like, Catholic priests and shaggy up your arse and all that. And I'm like, aye, I know they're like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know the church is like that. Can you not equally hate both? Because equally I treat the both of them the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're both of them are scumbags.
Mm-hmm.
But
100% agree with you.
I'm not going to pick who's the best pedo out of the both of them.
Pedo supremacy. He was an alright pedo, him.
Like the both of them are scummy bastards.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like mental gymnastics
Uh-huh.
that's happening amongst people when it comes to that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
no, but that wasn't the same. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Were people harmed? Aye. It's the fucking same thing, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Get a grip of yourself.
And they paid £12 million towards the victim of Prince Andrew.
Aye.
So not only has he abused someone, it's also cost £12 million to get away with it.
Mate, last week during the Jubilee, the number one single in the country was Prince Andrew's A Sweaty Pedo.
Amazing.
That's the world that we live in.
Who sang it?
I don't know, some random fucking band.
All right.
It wasn't like Oasis.
Imagine how it was like Texas or
I
something.
know that. How cool would that be, mate?
I tweeted that today. Charlene Spratelli. I think I've got something wrong with me, mate.
Red Group.
M15 Spratelli, you know, Charlene Spaghetti. I says I was meeting her the day for a toasty and a catch up, and hundreds of cunts are like, I love Texas.
Are you?
No,
No. Okay.
never met her before in my life.
Just toasty.
Is that not what Twitter should be? Just tweeting utter shite
Aye, it should be.
instead of like, you know, the usual push that we see. I don't want to get cancelled here. Dave Chappelle, oh, Dave Chappelle's the Black Devil. Oh, here, that's another thing that's pissing me off. Dave Chappelle, obviously Dave Chappelle's a genius, right? And I love him. But Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock are playing in London, and it's like £380 a ticket. Then you've got Louis C.K., a guy who wanks in front of people, is coming to Glasgow, and it's like £80 a ticket. All my mates are buying tickets for these shows, but they can't buy a ticket for fucking Greenock on Friday to see the man, the fucking main man.
The original, the OG.
What's happening, mate?
I don't know, man. The world's fucked, mate. Nothing makes sense to me anyway.
Should I just start wanking in front of birds? because I feel like that would make me successful. Wanking into plants like Harvey Weinstein. I need a movie deal, man. I'm nearly 35. I'm sick of being a good guy. Being a good guy gets me nowhere. I'm going to wank you a cactus in IKEA, and hopefully that will get me a Netflix special.
You'll get to jail quicker than the fucking nutters round at Sandyford, mate. That's what you'll end up fucking getting hauled out with your fucking arms behind your back.
I know.
But that was a joke. But the world is kind of fried. Like, if you want to go and protest the murder, a police officer murdering a woman, you're fucking tear gassed and you're fucking hogtied and you're thrown in a fucking cell. But if you want to go and stand outside an abortion clinic and scream absolute abuse at women, the police stand there and let you fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's... What sense does this make? What world do we live in, man? It's weird.
As a young man, or a child even, I was like warped by all that stuff. But as an adult, it is like looking at a villain in a comic book or something, and you're like, why the fuck is this happening? It's 2022. Like, it feels like the baddies are running, man.
It does, doesn't it?
See if I was... Sorry, mate. If I was walking my girlfriend or my sister into that clinic and the cunts were shouting at her, I think I'd attack them. Honest.
I think I would probably... I mean, I as I was saying, I had to stop myself. I was like, just take a breath. And these people are unwell and we should treat them accordingly, maybe. But I don't know, man. They just scream like they've never been punched in the face. They just need a good fucking doing. Some guys need a fucking good doing.
Aye.
I've had a good few.
They need a doing and a joint.
Or both.
Aye.
Should just, let's fucking spike the bastards.
Aye. You do them right because you're bigger and you're stronger than me. I mean, psychologically I can get in their head. You physically fuck them up. You give them a joint and then I suck their banger. They'd be away within a week. Let's give them post-traumatic stress. Aye. So, how long have we done, just to check?
45.
45 minutes. We'll wrap it up soon, right? We've got a couple of more things to talk about. Paul's got a driving lesson today. Good on you, mate. There's a book that I've just started. I actually get recommended to me.
Right.
Someone reached out to me, actually, on Twitter, because I tweet a lot about, like, weight and food. And someone was like, is that actually a joke? They said it in a good way. They were like, are you using humour to, like, deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because, like, I feel like I'm past all that stuff.
Right.
But those two tweets that the person mentioned, I was having a low mood. So those tweets that I tweeted were, I was fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, most of the tweets about weight and food and stuff is a joke. But she recommended a book. I won't name her because she's a good person. I don't want to name her. It was called Just Eat It by a woman called Laura Thomas, who is a nutritionist. I listened to some of it, actually, and she's Scottish.
Okay.
Sorry, I burped there. And it's just about your mental attitude and your approach to food. And also, it reminded me about you a wee bit. Don't eat until you're hungry. And I was like, what? Like, see, if I never ate food until I actually experienced hunger, I probably wouldn't eat much.
Well, you've just summed that book up, really, haven't you? It's like how to moderate your intake of food. Eat when you're hungry.
Yeah, but she talks a lot about, like, comfort foods, your attitude towards cheat meals, bad foods, like saying when it comes to Christmas I'm going to be a fat fucking sweaty cunt, but 1st of January I can't have those foods. Restriction, fasting, all that stuff. Like, only fast if it's healthy, don't fast because it's disordered eating. So same with James Smith, he kind of covered that as well. Like,
it's called intuitive eating.
Is that what it is?
Using your intuition, letting your body tell you when it needs fuel,
Yeah.
and eating then, rather than what we've become accustomed to, which is eating for pleasure, because that's not what food is for. It's fuel. And if you're not hungry, why are you eating? Just ask yourself, why am I eating?
Because it makes me feel like I'm coming.
Right. So then you're chasing, right? You're using food as a pleasure substance, which could lead to overweight or disordered eating.
Yeah.
And she's right. Like, this is something that has been, I don't know where it came from. I think when you look at it, it comes from the 80s and the fat-free fad of like, chocolate's bad, salad's good. And it's like, it's just food. Yeah. That's all that it is. It's like, we are either off the wagon or on the wagon, and it's like you can balance both of them through moderating yourself. Moderation is the key to everything, really. Calories.
So really, if you wanted a fucking bacon double cheeseburger on top of a pizza tonight, as long as you're not overdoing it, you could still eat it.
100%.
So
you can have what you like. You can eat what you like.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to just eat meat and salt and water. You know what I mean? It's hellish. It's fucking horrible doing shit like that. But that sounds like an intuitive eating program.
Yes. It does sound very good. I'm going to give it a listen to. It's called Just Eat. Her name's Laura Thomas. She's got Twitter, Instagram. I think you would maybe like her. She's got a weird American accent, and I just heard a wee bit of a Scottish twang in there.
She's got a wee Scottish
She's
twang.
fucking one of us.
Laura Thomas?
Yes. Laura Thomas, PhD. Blonde hair.
Yeah.
Babe.
Absolutely. Babe. Blonde. But, mate, it's also like, I feel like quite a lot of people's problems come from overeating. Like, if you put too much fuel in the tank, like, your mind you'll become hyperactive, your mind will become overactive. There's like consequential outcomes to overeating that's not just aesthetic. We focus, as a society, we focus so hyper on how we look, and we see food as a way to control how we look, when actually that is true, but it can mean so much more to you than that. Like, if you're going to be having a long day, podcast, an interview, writing, stand up, you need fuel for that, mate.
Yeah.
Don't starve yourself. Fuel that day. But then see if you've got a day where you're like, do you know what, I'm going to sit and watch Netflix and I'm going to chill out the day. You don't need as much fuel.
Yeah.
So it's just about balancing that out, right? And if you on a Saturday night want to have a pizza, a bag of chips and curry sauce, and then on the Sunday you're like, I'm going to fast that day, I'm going to do loads of steps, and then that night I'm going to eat what I seem is a wee bit better healthily, like for me, then do it. Like, it's fine.
There's a way to go about it. Because I've got a fridge full of... do you know, I feel like I'm fucking past all that stuff, but when you get honest with yourself, you're like, I'm fucked. I've got a fridge full of... I don't even know why I'm laughing, man. Meal replacement shakes that people drink when they die. Do you know those... like when somebody's dying of cancer or something?
All right, I thought you meant like dead inside.
When somebody's in an old folks home and they can't eat, the nurse will give them this shake. I can't remember what it's called.
Right.
And it is genuinely like cement. It's 300 calories. It's got some vitamins in it, carbs and stuff, but it's 300 calories.
Right.
And in my disordered fucking warped brain, I'm like, 300 calories, I'll drink 5 of them a day. And... obviously, I've not touched any of them, so I've got about 46 shakes in the fucking fridge.
Your shites would be watery, mate. I think they would run right through you, mate. That's like Huel.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
It's no Huel. It's actually like, I feel quite ashamed in saying this. The nurses actually give patients them.
Aye, right.
It's no Huel. Like, you can buy it off Amazon UK.
Right, okay.
But you won't get it in a shop.
Right.
Or I think you do get it in a shop, but it's no classed as a
health thing or whatever. It's for like necessity, like if you can't actually process food.
To be fair though, this wasn't me that came up with it. It was a boxer that I was training with, and the guy was off his fucking nut.
Oh, right. I spoke about him in previous episodes.
He was off his nut.
Well, I think, like, Huel, right?
Have you ever tried Huel?
It's fucking rancid, mate. I mean, I'm sure you get used to it. I've done protein shakes in the past, and they're fucking disgusting for the first week, and then you start to be like, this salted caramel synthetic taste actually is all right. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. They do weird things to your stomach. This whole, like, perfectly balanced meal in just like 30 seconds of, you make it, you know, you shake it up and you drink it. You don't need to think. You can take the thinking out of dieting and stuff like that. It's like, what are you doing? Like, see if you're like 5 a.m. club and you're fucking working 18-hour days and you're like hustling and you're like, I don't have time to stop, so I use these things as a way to get vitamins and minerals into my fucking body. Go for it. See if it's like a control mechanism. Like feeling like you're in control of yourself, that you don't trust yourself to be about food. You maybe need a bit of psychological fucking help with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I've seen some adverts for these shakes. I don't know if it's Huel. It might be Huel.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, are you too busy to eat? Oh my God, here, wait a minute. Nobody should ever be that busy to eat. Like, you should have 5 minutes, 10 minutes for something. You should never be that busy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of shit. I remember my mate when he was buying it, because see if you're with Bank of Scotland and you use the app, they give you deals.
Aye.
He got the Huel. He's like, no, got 3 months worth. I'll do all right for 3 months. I'm not slagging him, because I would do the same and all. And then the second day, he's like, it tastes like shite.
Of course it does, man. It's no fucking, it's shite. You're eating shite. That's what it is. Like fucking your, aye, mate. It's and I think this is probably quite unique to the West, or you know, we have a weird relationship when it comes to food. We see it as the devil. We see it as an enemy, as like to looking our best and all this sort of stuff. Is it really that important to look good?
No.
I don't think so either, mate.
No.
It's hellish, man. You're miserable. You're a fucking miserable person. Like, I seen a guy on Instagram the other day where it was like, this is how low his self-esteem is, right? He's all big smiles, pure, look at me, I live a great life, perfect life. He lives within a super rigid routine, which is fucking shite anyway.
Yeah.
Living such a structured life is not living to me. Where's your room for play and happiness and all that sort of stuff? I get it between 12 and 2, actually. Right, fuck you. Like, you can't schedule fun. Like, scheduled fun is not fun. Fuck off. But anyway, he put up a post. This guy is ripped, mate. Like, beyond belief. And he's like, I'm doing a photo shoot next week and I just hope that nobody notices my calves. And I was like, actually had like a chuckle to myself of like, really? Okay. You've just told everybody your insecurities. New people are going to pick on that. And you've told them that you've got shite calves and nobody would have fucking noticed. And then it was like 4 minutes later in the next story, oh well, just take my top off and everybody will be distracted. And it's like, I think you might be distracting yourself here, mate, for something terrible that's going on through your head, such as that you're a fucking loser. And see, to be perfectly honest, he is a bit of a loser.
Well,
sad to say.
Is he Scottish?
Aye, mate.
So, yeah, I mean, that is like an obsession, isn't it, really? What's happening? Is he just like, what's this structured living shite?
It's just all the same stuff that we talk about. It's like pure, I've read how to make friends and influence people, and that made it so that I could network so great and get my bros. And now I've got crypto and NFT, and I get up at 5 a.m. and I do cold showers, and it's just all that. And it's like an 18-hour task to task to task to task until the guy goes to bed and sleeps. And I think the most enjoyment that he gets out of his life is watching a game of football or a pasta dish once a week. And I'm like, mate, that's hell on earth to me.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason that I think I really hyper focus on stuff like that is I lived like that for a long time and it was not fun, mate. I kidded myself on that it was a lot of fun. I was like, feeling good about myself because nobody else could do what I was doing. I would talk about the gym constantly. I would, oh no, I can't drink that, I can't eat that. And at any point at house parties after I had a couple of drinks, all I wanted to do was take my top off or arm wrestle somebody because I thought I was fucking Superman. And mate, see when I look back at it, I'm like, I was an insufferable prick.
Yeah.
And now I look at these young guys and I'm like, you're an insufferable prick.
Yeah.
Like, and the people round about you probably don't like you, and the only reason that they do is because you're surrounding yourself with the 5 best people that, you know, see all this stuff. Like, if people are negative, cut them out of your life, and it's like, you're going to be with nobody, man.
Yeah.
You're going to end up with nobody. And what are you going to do when you become that negative person, when the negative thoughts that go through your head start to overwhelm you? You're going to think something. Like, I seen this the day, and this is what I mean. There's a person on my Instagram that believes that if bad things happen to you, that you must have done something bad. They believe in karma, right? And it extends past previous lives. And she's been going through a year of hellish ill health. And she had put on her Instagram story yesterday, I don't know what I've done, but it must have been something bad because I'm going through, and I'm like, you're a human being. Sometimes horrible things happen to amazing people. She's an amazing person, mate.
Yeah.
She's an amazing person, but it's this is the type of ideas. It's the same thing. You have a belief. This guy believes that achievement is going to make him better than everybody else round about him. It's like that sort of like, my worth is based on what I do.
Yeah.
And what I put out in the world. And then you've got another idea that what comes back to me, I must cause. It's like manifesting and karma. And it's like you've just created your own hell in your own fucking mind. And there's no need for it.
Yeah.
Like, see you as a person, see if you sit and do nothing with your day, you are as worthy as somebody that got up at 5 a.m. and went to the gym and meditated and journaled and blah, blah, blah. You are as worthy as them. Because we're all just humans trying to survive. And see, when we get to the end of this road, we're all going to die. And see your gym, see your deadlift PB, it is not going to matter a fuck to you when you get to that point.
We all experience death sooner or later. I like that you said that, mate.
Do you know what I feel like? I do therapy. I've done thousands and thousands of hours of like connecting with people, talking to people, try to help them untangle this fucking maze that we end up in life, try to figure out what does it all mean. It's meaningless. Your point of your life is to try and make yourself and the people that you know happy. That's it. And see, other than sitting in a room like what we're doing right now and looking in somebody's eye and talking to them and going, here's what I think, what do you think, and growing a wee bit at a time, I don't think there's anything else to this. We try and make it better with food, drugs, sex, bullying, dominating people, climbing hills, like extreme experiences like parachuting and stuff. I don't think any of it really matters. Like, what actually matters is you're a human, I'm a human, and if you need something and I can do something to help you get that, that I do that. And I don't think, no, Darren's a negative person and I shouldn't surround myself with negative people. No, that's sort of pish, man. We're just lost in it, mate. We're all just lost in the sauce of fucking try to figure out what does this mean. Like,
yeah, mate, we know people like that. Go to the gym for 4 hours and stuff. Fuck off. At least I've got a big banger though.
Do you?
Yep.
Prove it.
It's flaccid right now.
Oh, okay. You a grower?
I am actually a grower, if we're going to get serious about it.
Scientific.
Like, I could pull my cock out right now and you'd be like, that is really sad. Give me 10 minutes, man. Give me some baby oil, and then you'd be like, ah, holy fuck, he's got a hog. That's why he's cutting about like a man-child. Very friendly, childlike, because I know that I'm packing. When I put weight on, it gets thick. When I lose weight, it gets long. So there we go.
Was my rant about life there too much?
How?
I don't know.
How do you think I'm like going into a coping mechanism? I'm talking
know.
about the size of my cock.
I don't know.
No, I loved it, mate. I loved
Okay.
it. That's the way you should approach it. That's the way it's true. Because you see people that climb up hills and do other shit. I know people, I've worked with people that are like, I need to go to the gym today. If they don't do the gym, they're anxious and they're fucking, what's wrong with a walk? Do you know what I mean? Instead of driving to the gym, what's wrong with just walking to the shops and back and doing 10,000 steps a day? You don't need to waste half a day in a gym. Like, I totally agree with everything you said there, mate. It's like people are just making themselves mentally ill with situations that don't need to happen.
I think actually people are mentally ill and they use things like that to distract them. And the reason that you can see that is if they are too into it, they get too into things. Again, it comes back to the same thing with the diet. It's about balance. Like, I genuinely believe that we need movement. We need to move our bodies. Like, we're made to move. We're made to run and jump and all that sort of stuff. So just a basic bit of movement every day, a healthy, balanced diet. Again, balanced. You can eat what you like. Just balance it. Some sort of form of, like, thought journaling to make sure that your mind is actually living in reality and you're not creating your own misery in your own head. And I think that have some sort of like goal-based activity, no matter what it is, just grow a wee bit every day. But it's like the world has decided that we need to grow. It's like we need it all now. Like, what's the... I get questions about this all the time. What's the best this? What's the best meditation app? What's the best journaling app? I need it now. I need that thing that's going to make this life bearable. And it's like, stop that. See the people that are round about you, go and talk to them. Find out how they are. If you're not feeling great, tell them that you're not feeling great. Let them help you. You help them. I think that's it, mate.
I like
for
that.
me. That's how I try and live my life, mate. And even sometimes I get lost in it and decide that, no, do you know what's going to make me happy? More money. Make my business better. You know, selling out another gig, that's going to make me happy. And it's like, make you feel good for a wee minute. But see if the engine that sits underneath it's broken, none of it will matter to you in the morrow. It'll just be something else will be needed.
Do you know, it's funny that it reminded me of the hair transplant place. The guy that gave me my hair transplant said, you take 7 days off work, you can't exercise for 7 days, you need to rest. See the amount of people that were like, I can't do that. They've not got 7 days. And also, it takes about a year for your hair to come back and grow. And they were like, oh, for fuck's sake, a year?
Can I not get it right now?
Aye. So they don't need to realise that shit like this takes time. 5 minutes. Anyway, let's go. We're going to wrap up the podcast. Look, quickly, I want to recommend some films. I've been watching some amazing films. Dragged Across Concrete, right? Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. Fucking brilliant. By this director called S. Craig Zally. And he did Brawl in Cell Block 99 as well. And Bone Tomahawk. Amazing films. Get into them. If you watch them, tell me how you think about them. I just want to thank P&N Bathrooms again, Noel on Kirkendalloch Road. And that was episode 31. Also, please buy a fucking ticket to come and see me in Greenock, please. And that's it. You get anything else to say, Paul?
No, mate.
Are you happy?
I'm happy, mate.
I'm happy as well. I'm getting a hard on now. Thank you very much, everybody, and see you next week.